Welcome, welcome to the Daily Huddle. I am your host, Dr. Monica Ogando, and I am so excited to be here with you today because we're going to be talking about a favorite phrase known around the world in most transformational circles, and that is how you do anything is how you do everything. And it sounds very inspiring, doesn't it? It sounds very even revelatory and telling, like, ooh, is it? Let me see. And then you start inspecting how you do this, how you do that, and see if it fits. And I don't believe that. I don't know if I believe that how you do everything is how you do everything anymore. I don't know. I'm here to work it out with you. We're here to work it out with you. So here's the premise. Here's the premise. You are an essence. You are an essential organism. And you have a come from, you have a way of being, you have a way of life and a philosophy and a way that you digest life, the way that you ingest information, data, people, relationships, etc., and a way that you express those things from your way of being. And so the whole premise behind how you do anything is how you do everything is that part of your essence seeps through all of your relationships, all of your behavior, all of your words. There's a piece of you that comes out in all of that. And so that essence of you is everywhere in all of your words and all of your actions, all of your patterns, et cetera, et cetera. And so what is that essence of you? I think that it is our identity, our perceived identity that seeps through our actions, our behaviors, et cetera, et cetera. Let me give you an example. There may be two people, both of them are health conscious, both of them are going to work out and eat in a particular way and so forth, because both of them want to lose weight and gain muscle tone and all that good stuff. But one person believes themselves to be an athlete, or at least used to be an athlete, and now they're trying to get their mojo back. And the other person believes themselves to be a middle-aged, menopausal, just regular person. And they're just trying to fit into a dress, for a party or for a vacation or something. And so can you see that the meal prep, the workouts, the sleep patterns, the supplementation, the hydration, all of those things are going to be different for these people because of who they think they are. Not because how you do anything is how you do everything, but because who you say you are dictates how you do everything. You see there's a little nuance there, little nuance. So if you say to yourself, I'm an athlete, I'm going to approach yourself, your food, your supplements, your water, your sleep, your workouts. Now they're not like have tos. Now they're just an extension of who you say that you are. Whereas for the other person, it's just something that they got to get off their list because they have this finite goal that they have to get to, and it's a have to, it's not a get to for them. Right. And then what usually happens is that as soon as this person reaches that goal, they're like, oh, finally, now I can finally have coconut shrimp. I deserve it. Now I can finally have this cheesecake. I deserve it. I've worked hard. I've deprived myself. Right. Whereas the person that believes themselves to be an athlete is saying, I can have this treat, I can have that treat, etc., but not too much because I got a next goal and the next goal and the next goal, right? Because this is the way that I am evolving as the thing that I say that I am. So question isn't whether you have a discernible pattern in your behavior, because how you do anything is how you do everything. The question, as Jesus asked Peter in the Bible, who do you say that I am? That's the question that life asks of you with every single pattern, every single behavior, every single word that you utter. Who do you say that you are? Who are you when you are angry, when you are tired, when you feel offended, when you feel desperate, when you have no money or little money or not the money that you want, or you have plenty of money? Who are you when you're relaxed? Who are you when you're stressed? And I heard Dr. Wayne Dyer, rest his soul, say this a long time ago. To be like an orange. When you squeeze an orange juice comes out. Doesn't matter if the temperature's hot, the temperature's cold, if you do it up here, if you do it down here, if you do it in the kitchen, if you do it in the bedroom. Whenever you squeeze an orange juice comes out. What happens when people squeeze you? What happens when life squeezes you? What happens when circumstances, challenges, disappointments, stresses, jobs, relationships, children, stress, squeeze you? What comes out? And that interruption, I'll say, has informed my philosophy of pause before responding, pause before receiving. So the whole premise behind pause before responding is, sometimes your words can be very cutting. Sometimes your behavior can be very impulsive. Like, just take a beat before you decide to take action, before you decide to open your mouth. And in the same way, when it comes back around to you, pause before receiving, because some of that stuff that people say or do have nothing to do with you. So before you take it as your own, especially for those of you who are empathics, before you take it as your own, just pause for a second. It's part of the whole, audit your assumptions, check yourself before you wreck yourself kind of philosophy, because you might be more of service to someone if you let them have their offense rather than be offended with them. And now both of us are acting out of our ego. So how you do anything is how you do everything. I don't know that that's true anymore. I used to say that a lot too. And to be honest with you, I used to say it like a really clever, noble, transformational, under the radar way of telling somebody, get your shit together. Because you're effing up, and how you do anything is how you do everything. So handle this, right? And I understand people are much more, nuanced than that. They're more complex than that. They have come from that I haven't investigated or discovered. I have come from that I have not yet discovered, and we are all, as human beings, little onions whose layers are being peeled by the intimacy, by the proximity of our relationships, by the questions we ask, by the circumstances we expose ourselves to, by the practices that we engage in, et cetera, et cetera. We're all being revealed in that way. And so perhaps we can get curious about who we say that we are and how our declared or perceived identity informs and dictates our actions rather than indict them. How many of you have heard that phrase before and used it and believe it? And I want to talk about it. I want to explore this with you. Sorrel, you said that you use it all the time, that you say it all the time. Tell me, is it like Is it like what I'm saying? Like I've used it too, but it's kind of like an indictment on people. I usually use it when they're late or when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing or trying to get them to straighten up. Maria, you have something?
Yes, I've used that expression.
Mm-hmm.
How you do that is how you do your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I just looked at my life and then I saw, uh-oh, I need to put some practices in place so that I can bust a groove in another direction. Her Majesty Monica, it is so good to see you.
You too. Okay, so how did it help you to detect patterns or to check yourself in how you were living your life when somebody said that to
Because people took me on the side and said, like, hello, wake up. You have passive aggressive behavior.
you?
I never know what I'm gonna get. Am I gonna get the obnoxious
Oh.
side of Maria Sangria with your tone of voice?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I gonna get the nice side? And I was just like, that was like a wake-up call for me.
Mm-hmm.
I really took a look to see, wow, I don't want to be like that. And I am who I say I am.
Right.
So I apologized and I really like looked within and I created me after I apologized and we talked about it because I actually went to several people and said, what's it been like for you with me being the way I've been being? And that was really a wake up call, Monica. That's a very
Mhm.
vulnerable question to ask. And they told me very difficult, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
So then I really like let it all go and busted a groove into another direction and created practices like who am I? I am a majestic force of nature. I am a world class global leader. And when I speak, people's lives are forever altered. And standing there, I practice throwing kindness around like as if it's confetti. I
Right.
practice, yeah, there you go. And I practice giving up the right to be right. And I listen. So I just want to like share that from my heart to everyone's heart because I really got present to all of this as you were talking.
That's awesome. So you did have to harness a more conscious identity for yourself in order for you to practice a different way of being with people.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm thankful that you brought up the passive aggressive communication thing because I think it's much more common than people realize and much more unconscious than people realize. And and I'm curious about where it comes from for you because when I talked to a friend of mine, a very, very dear friend of mine, who who does the whole passive aggressive conversation thing, or like little digs, little jabs and stuff. And when we talked about it, there was some uh bubbling anger under the surface that she had not yet fully communicated. And it wasn't even about the person, it was just this is just the water she was swimming in. And so everything that came out that way. It was almost like she was operating under the assumption, under the identity of it is not safe for me to speak my truth. So I gotta get it in like sideways or whatever. I can't really tell you how I feel. If I really tell you how I feel, I'd kill you. It would be too much. And so I have to kind of give it to you in pieces. I have to give it to you in little sideways moments like that. And when she started to practice the identity of I am safe with my truth, then the passive aggressive communication dropped. Did that occur like that for you as well?
Well, what you're saying definitely resonates with me. And I grew up with my parents and five other siblings, and I was number, there's six children. I was number five. My whole essence was, you're not listening to me and you don't care anyway. So
Mm,
then I would always want to be outspoken so that I would be heard, and still, whatever I tried to do never really worked.
oh,
So
okay. So
then,
yeah, put a little
so
sauce, put a little sting in it so it can make a difference.
and, and what emerged was that passive aggressive behavior.
Yes.
And really, I'll never forget the guy.
And
He was my very good friend in New Orleans, Andrew. He really took me aside at a party one day and told me, you might want to consider waking up because you have passive aggressive behavior. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Because, of course, I always want to look good to avoid looking bad. And I'm thinking, oh, uh-oh, here we go. And I really paid attention to him. And that was like a turning point.
Uh-huh. Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay,
Thank you for
thank
that.
you.
Now, can you say again that thing that you said? Majestic, this and that, and global, this and that. What did you say? Because that was beautiful. That was poetry.
Oh, thank you. I created myself as I am magnificent. I am a world class global leader. I am a majestic force of nature. And when I speak, people's lives are forever altered. And standing there,
Yes. Beautiful.
that's how I operate now because I busted a
Awesome.
groove in another direction. So thank you, Her Majesty Monica.
Thank you for that. Sorella, I saw your hand up. Come on up.
Uh, yeah. I have a different take on that
Yes, please
phrase.
tell me. Yes.
I love the phrase, how you do anything is how you do everything. But the way I've always heard it is the way you created it. Who's doing anything
Mm-hmm.
is who's doing everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I used to walk around thinking I have multiple problems. Like I have a problem in this relationship, a problem in that relationship, and they're different. Or I have a money problem, or I have a weight problem, and they're different. And when I got introduced to how you do anything is how you do everything, and I heard it, who's doing anything is who's doing everything.
Yeah.
And a breakthrough or an opening in one area of my life served me everywhere.
Yeah.
It's never been an indictment for me. It's always been, that saying has always been a source of taking one breakthrough and milking it for everything it has.
Right. Okay.
So to take Maria as example, to discover that I am passive aggressive is to discover that who's being passive aggressive is the same person who's being happy or being afraid. So the breakthrough for me in that whole space is that, oh wow, there's only one breakthrough to ever have.
Yes.
There's only one breakthrough. That's it.
And
One
what is
breakthrough,
that
and you
breakthrough?
milk it throughout your life.
And what is that breakthrough? The breakthrough of what?
For me, that breakthrough is discovering that the who that's doing anything, that does everything, is the essence that you were pointing to. And that essence, in a way, doesn't need a breakthrough because it is the essence, seeing, observing, and being with what's happening out there. That quote unquote identity or ego would say, oh, that sucks.
Yes.
Right. And then when I go, that sucks, I get really busy unsucking things.
Right. Right.
What if I didn't have to unsuck anything?
Yes.
Because who sucks?
Yes.
Is the one who said it sucks. So I could just say something else.
You could say something else.
That's how I relate to
Brilliant.
how
Brilliant.
I do anything is how I do everything.
So I think then that we are actually saying the same thing. When you say how we do anything is how we do everything, is the same thing as when I say there's only one problem, who you say you are, and there's only one solution, who you say you are.
Period.
Yeah.
Dot dash.
Punto final, like we say in Spanish. Yes. There's only one problem, who you say you are, and there's only one solution, who you say you are. And sometimes you have to make that decision right in the middle of the chaos, of the hurricane, of the meeting, of the talent show, of the presentation, of the argument, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to have to decide, who do I say that I am right now? And that'll dictate how I show up, what I say, the actions I take, the decisions I make, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, totally. Totally.
Thank you, Monica.
Yeah, thank you, Sorrel. That was beautiful. To unsuck it. Or not, or maybe just take the lesson since it's suck it in. Who else has something? Who else has something?
Grand
Ooh,
Rising, everyone. Grand Rising.
Grand Rising. I'll
Sorry,
get to you. I'll get to you, Rashida, right after Kurt, since he has his hand up. Let me see. Let me see. There he is. Hello, Kurt.
All right.
There you go.
All right. So yeah, just listening to the sibling thing, you know, in my family, I was the youngest of four. And so I kind of related to when you're kind of on that youngest end growing up, you see your elder siblings, you know, kind of lead the way on life. You know, you're kind of, as you're growing and developing, you're seeing that example of how I need to do it in a few 4 years ahead, whatever. You know, and then in terms of attention, you know, just in that family dynamic, you know, growing up, you just don't realize the gift of the attention that your family and the elders are giving you. And, you know, so I kind of grew up with a sense of like social awkwardness. And I had a tough time for about 20 years trying to figure it all out. And it was finally about 20 years ago that I took a car ride with the gentleman who does training. And, you know, I realized that I talked his ear off. It was like a 20-minute drive. And I think he maybe got like 3 minutes worth of sharing his part of our conversation. And I really got self-conscious about that. And then here this group teaches about curiosity dialogue, being interested as compared to being interesting. And so like the passive aggressive thing, I relate to that because I just behaved in a way that I just did what I needed to do to keep getting what I needed, what I wanted, to just keep getting what I want. You know, and I never really figured out for a couple decades what really was the, you know, the best bet in the relationship to take care of their side of the relationships. When I learned about high yielding questions and things like that, and just giving the space and the art of allowing, it was interesting how in my learning experience, I rejected so much of what would have helped me in my teen years and so forth. But I eventually, in my slow learning way, you know, I caught up with it all. And, you know, and then getting to the pinnacle of things like a great conversation with Sherelle last night. I mean, I'm right in the thick of all these great daily huddles and everything. Looking forward to tomorrow's daily huddle and just really enjoying all the shares that take place. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. That's awesome. Thank you for that contribution. Rashida, you had something? I think I heard you.
Grand Rising. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm listening to the conversation this morning, and I go back to my childhood. I the middle, and I always say I'm the sandwich. I have 3 siblings on the right, 3 siblings on the left, and I got suck it up. And until today, I still suck it up. Oh, Carl Rashida, she have the answer. Oh, Carl Rashida. I said, listen, and now I have them on mute mode on my phone. My siblings have made me realize that life is just one of those things that we make it brilliant, dark. Listen, trust me, it's one of those passive aggressive that I could not deal with, still can't deal with, because in just for being in that setting of my upbringing of my three siblings one way and three siblings the other way is that I live sucking up stuff from them, but not from my setting in the way that in my business and in my retreat and stuff that I do not suck up anything. But from my family members, yes. And then come 10 grandkids that have me. Have me sucking up stuff. Like this morning, my granddaughter come and say, Nana, are we doing Thanksgiving at your house? I said, let me know. He said, oh no, we already planned for Thanksgiving at your house. So she called me and telling me if we are doing Thanksgiving at their house, at my house, but they already know and they already planned to do Thanksgiving at my house. So what I do, suck it up. And I'm going to live sucking it up with my family. Out of my family, I don't do that. I really start to man up. I no longer do woman up. I do man up. So thank you so much, Soren. I really love your point. Really love your point. So I'm just going to keep sucking it up just for my family. Thank you.
I love it. Listen, your family, let me tell you about your family of origin and the people that share bloodlines with you, okay? That is a lagging indicator of your consciousness, where you've been and how and where you need to meet yourself so that you can keep ascending. So they are highly paid 1099 consultants sent by spirit to evolve you, called forth by your own consciousness. So
what I think, Monica, now that you say that my Sankara, I have to really realize and connect with my because remember we come back here for a reason, and those people who we are encounter with or Sankara really make a difference if we understand what is the purpose what is the purpose that we come back to really confront. And remember, if the way I feel is the same way they feel, because our Sankara is really connect together. So I like the idea. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here for this lively conversation. I appreciate you. Remember always to give of yourself, your love, your energy, your attention. Give the benefit of the doubt. Give positive intent. Love generously and stress less. You know, it ain't that deep. And if it is, you got the tools. So it's all right anyways. And eat more plant-based food, exercise. Remember that twerking is a Kundalini raising exercise. You could do it. Even if you ain't got no rhythm, you could do it. You've got a chakra system, you could do it. Sleep, please. Get yourself at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And if you're feminine dominant, make it 9. We need more sleep than the penis holders. And obviously, audit your assumptions. Check yourself before you wreck yourself or others. Love the way that you wish to be loved and honor the way you wish to be honored. We love you very much. Thank you for being here for another Spiritual Matters Thursday. See you next time.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you, you guys.